What's going on? Howdy, everyone.
What up?
What up? We got Jeff on here with us tonight. We got Sean and myself. So go ahead and drop a comment in the comment section below. Let us know who all's watching. I know we got 5 folks on here. I see Scott and Chris Harrelson has jumped on. But I'd definitely like to see you guys drop your name in the comment section below so we can see who's all in attendance for tonight's meeting. What's going on, Lloyd? Excited to be back. Excited to have you guys join me tonight. Thanks again, Jeff. We're going to talk about ICAST here in a minute. Sean, thanks for joining. I know you're still at work, so we appreciate you. Appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy day to join us. And sorry again, too, for the late notification yesterday. I was in bed all day and totally forgot to generate this link to post it out to you guys. So if you're not watching this live and you're watching it after the fact, please feel free to reach out to myself, Sean, Todd, Jeff, Chris Clutter, David Myers, any of those guys with any immediate follow-up questions in regards to what we're going to be discussing here tonight. But just a quick sequence of events and things that we're going to be talking about. Obviously, the big thing is going to be we're going to be releasing the 25 to 26 schedule. We're going to talk about a new concept that we're adopting here for this upcoming season with some of the events that we're going to be having this year. We're going to go over some of the rules that have been adjusted based off of some of the immediate feedback from the polls that we released earlier on this month. And then, yeah, we'll field any questions that you guys may have. And we are going to go over the Tourney X club membership and how that all is going to look and what that's going to look like for the upcoming season and kind of just talk a little bit about that. So it might be around an hour tonight. We'll try to keep it that way. But if it goes a little bit longer, it should be a very informative live for you guys tonight. So just to kind of quick to get it started, I see a lot of you guys are dropping your names in there. I do want to open it up to the floor to Jeff to kind of talk about his experience. Him and Todd, Chris Clutter, David Noble, David Myers. I'm sure I'm forgetting a few, but they all went out to ICAST this past week and on behalf of the club and really advocated for the club to those sponsors and really kind of helped build those relationships. So, Jeff, I kind of just want to turn it over to you and you kind of explain kind of what all went down and whatnot there at ICAST this year.
So obviously we went out there and the main purpose was to support Strike King and Lose and Quantum. We helped set up their booths. So that was pretty cool just to kind of get the glimpse behind the scenes on how all the exhibits come together. But Monday the weather was a little bit garbage for the water test, but we did get a chance to get outside and see the Garmin Force and some of the new motors. Yakutech had a motor come out as well. And then obviously they were out there with the Move and the XTRs. Bonafide was out there. So it was kind of cool to see everything. That Garmin Force motor, I think that's going to be a home run. I know there are some people brought up some drawbacks to it, but the reality is that thing looked pretty sweet. You know, when I first saw it online, I was kind of questioning kind of the big design of it, but the more you see it mounted on the kayak, it almost looked like a cowling, you know, like a true outboard, you know, behind the kayak. So that was kind of cool. We stopped by Naqua and saw some of our big sponsors. So Naqua is coming out with lights. I posted them already to the website.
Yeah.
For Florida Kayak Bass Trail, but they gave me, you know, one of their prototype units to install and give them some feedback. So the install was good. It's got solid 3M tape on it. And then the wiring, I mean, it's just your typical Naqua wire. So wherever you've got your battery running your electronics, if you're using that Naqua, that thing's pretty solid. I mean, the install took 2 minutes and I've used them twice already. There's like no draw. It's less than 1 amp an hour. And so that was really cool. So, you know, we saw a lot of good products. What's that?
And they're super bright from what I saw.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're bright. I mean, they're as bright as anything else that's out there as far as the strip lighting goes. But for anybody that doesn't want to drill into their kayak, I mean, that was the cool thing, right? They're pre-wired, ready to go. So I don't like to drill into the side because if you're taking water over the bow, I mean, it's almost impossible to make that watertight there. But no, so that was cool. And then we saw Hobie Eyewear. You know, they're coming out with some new things for any of us that are starting to lose our vision. They actually have glasses that have readers that slide out of the way, and you can slide them in when you're tying knots and stuff. So, polarized sunglasses that have readers on the frame that slide in and out of the way. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, so I mean, it was just, getting around all of our exhibits. We talked to a lot of potential new sponsors, and so obviously we're sending some correspondence out, and we'll see if we can get some additional affiliate codes this year, and maybe do a water demo with Garmin. I know we talked to them about that, and then we talked to Van Hunks again,
Yep.
and Ty from Van Hunks was interested in maybe renewing his relationship and coming out and doing some of the water test type stuff at some of the events. We talked about when we get to the Winter Haven type stuff,
Yep.
we're really close to those guys, so they might come out to Lake Alfred and do a demo at our first event of the year. So
Yeah.
we'll see how
Yeah.
that goes. But that's basically it.
Yeah, Tyrone, man, Tyrone and his father, they're amazing people and do a lot for the saltwater community there on pretty much all throughout Florida. They've been a great sponsor of the club since the start. So definitely excited that you guys got a chance to hang out and speak with them, and hopefully we'll be able to rekindle that relationship and get them back with the club. And then I see y'all were passing out a bunch of business cards. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you guys doing what you guys were doing. Since myself, Sean, we couldn't make it this time. Hopefully that's something that we'll be able to do next year, to get out there. It's something that's my favorite part of the year, is getting there and getting to hang out and see the business. So
I think some of the coolest stuff at ICAST, right? Obviously we got to see all the club participants.
yeah,
Chris Blanco was there, and we
Yep.
saw Wendy, but Steve Harvey was there this year.
Yep.
So we got to see Steve Harvey, and then I got to meet Wally Marshall. I don't know, for anybody that does
Yeah.
crappie fishing,
the crappie man.
he's Mr. Crappie, and he was something else. He's
a hoot,
quite
man.
the character. But
Yeah,
that was cool.
I saw his stuff. Me and Sean had the privilege of hanging out with him the last two or 3 years that we've been going. Yeah. And Wally, he's an amazing guy. And if you ever get a chance to go do some crappie fishing with him, he's a character, but he's awesome. Great.
He was
dude.
sporting all the Doc Daddy stuff.
Yeah. we saw the post. It looked like you guys had a ton of fun. And it looks like you guys were able to build some more relationships, and that's what it's all about. We'd like for you guys to get out there, and it's also a way for us to give back to our sponsors, right? Because that's the way that they get their return on investment, is for us to being able to be there and to support them and help advocate for their brands at that event is huge, because that gets to shows potential as investors that that people are there supporting and back their brands, which is what makes them bigger in the long run. So that's awesome. I appreciate everything. If I missed you, I'm sorry. But we do appreciate everyone that went out there, just not necessarily for our club, but just being an ambassador for kayak bass fishing is what it's really all about. So hopefully there's a lot more that comes out of it. It's normally our biggest event of the year, where we get out there and get to see face with some of those sponsors and build those relationships. But at the end of the day too, when it comes to those affiliate programs, it comes down to the anglers and the members of the club going out and supporting those brands as well. So we appreciate that on the backside as well. So
did you see the Best in Show, the jet kayak?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that right now meets all of our rules.
Really?
To be yep. So I think they keep it below 3 horse. So it moves at about 6 to 7 miles per hour. And
and the only thing that I would have a question about, I know it was a prototype. A lot of it was prototype based off of their video that they did, but with the grass and the intake for the jet propulsion portion of it, I wonder how that would handle in, say, like Kenansville or stick.
So he said, so I always question when somebody says they take it on the thickest mats, right? But the guy said he's taken it over the thickest mats he can find, and the only thing he ever had to do, he said getting over it, went over it just fine. After he went over it, he put it in reverse. It spit out just a little bit, but he said the way that motor is designed and the way the sweep is underneath, that he claims it's 100% weedless. Wow. Doesn't get gunked up or anything. And worst case scenario, if you do, just real quick push into reverse, and it clears everything out of the impeller.
Jet drives aren't approved yet.
Yeah.
Wait.
I don't. So the
It's
big
under-
thing is it
so-
only had one impeller, so it doesn't have multiple impellers like the jet skis do. So it very well might be clean. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure.
It don't bother me one way or the other.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me either.
We'll talk a little bit about that as we go on here in the next couple minutes about motors, and what that looks like for the future of the FKBT, right? And how and where that's going in the game or in the kayak bass fishing industry. I was curious. I know we talked about it too. I don't know when they plan on going out for sale and who manufactures it, because I know the people that were showcasing that one, it wasn't necessarily that they built the kayak, it was just they did the motor, correct? So
no, they do the whole kayak.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, it comes. So the guy kind of claimed that it came rigged, but like the reality is it doesn't come rigged. It comes, kind of, they left it as like an empty pallet. So the whole deck space is usable. You can put like a forward cavity for like storage.
Yeah.
But it comes with like 2 rod holders. You could put like a black pack in it.
Yeah.
But it comes rigged with lights. It comes rigged with nav lights and cockpit lights. And then the jet drive itself. And then the jet drive sits in there just with 4 bolts. So you can, if you have any issues with the drive, you can just, the covers come off easy. You remove it with the 4 bolts, unplug the electrical components, and you can send it back to them for service. They claim it's maintenance free though, but to kind of the point, Sean was
Let
making,
us have a shot at it.
that's what I said. I'd be happy to, take it out and put it on orange or something and see how it does, or Toho, and
Is
see
it
how it
12
does
volt,
with real
24 or
hydraulic.
36 volt? What is the
It goes
battery?
all the way up to 60.
12, 24, 36, all the way up to 60. And it does
Holy
all the power conditioning for you. So whatever battery you put in there, it will condition the cockpit lights and the nav lights down to 12 volts. And then it's got like AC DC output and a USB output as well. And then it conditions the motor. So if you're only at like 12 volts, he said it'll only do like 3.5 miles an hour. If you're above 36 volts, then you're going to see like 6 or 7 miles per hour.
Oh, geez. I'm curious to see when that goes out on the market who's going to take advantage of that. That'd be pretty unique, especially with, I mean, like I've seen posts, a lot of the anglers that do a lot of the sponsorship kind of videos through iCast. I saw this year, last year, and I'm going to say it because it's, to me, it's quite frustrating. Not frustrating, but a lot of companies put a lot of time into developing an engineering product, right? Like they don't just in good business practices, you don't put something out until it's like tried and tested, right? And
you don't buy the first one,
right? So the big thing that I have seen for the past 2 years is the state of the kayak industry, right? Where is it going? Right? Because stuff hasn't been put out. Okay. And so you see that narrative being pushed. Okay, where is that at? And then you start seeing this year, what have we seen? We've seen an uptick in what? Motors, a lot of stuff that is being put on kayaks. And now what I've started to see, and is like, is it oversaturated? Right? No, it's giving us the opportunity to make a decision on a quality product, right? So I think it's in the right direction with like Minn Kota, Garmin, you have the NKs, you have Torquedo, you have all, now anglers are equipped with the ability to go buy whatever brand they want to brand. Minn Kota, now you got an option that you compare your graphs with. Garmin, same thing. Motor Guide, the same idea, right? So that have then switched over, or no longer Motor Guide, but you get what I'm saying. So I'm excited. What were you gonna say, Sean?
No, I was just saying it's like the industry. I mean, it's kind of like golf too. Like golf club manufacturers go in 2 to 3 year windows. They come out with their premier line, and then 2 to 3 years later, their development phase. And same thing with fishing. It takes time for development. That's why you see upticks.
I think what I noticed on the motor side, especially being at iCast, was they're hitting different price points, right?
Yep.
So Move is at $6,000. The Garmin Force is coming out at $3,500 if you buy the foot pedals and the controller. If you don't want the foot pedals, then it's going to be an even $3,000.
Yeah.
The Torquedos and the new kit, the NKs are still roughly at the $1,500 to $2,500, depending on if you go with like the NK 300. And then, you still have the, what do they call it? The
Torpedo,
Bixby,
Yep.
that's, cheaper, right? So
Yep.
I think it comes, and then you've got the Tarovas, which, are basically at the 1500, which was the motor guide price point. So I think basically you're seeing everything from about $800 to 6,000. It's definitely saturated at this point, but I think it's also, what do you want to pay, right? I personally, I think it's kind of getting. I'll just go to rifles, right? I always heard when you buy a long gun, whatever you spend on the gun, you spend on your optics. I think it's going to be that way for kayaks. Whatever you spend on your kayak is what you're going to end up spending on a motor or more, right? So,
and people, I know people are going to say, well, just because you spend a lot of money on your kayak, don't mean that you're going to go out there and win every tournament, right? So you could have 10 grand, 20 grand in a kayak. That does not equate to your ability to be able to go out there and catch a fish. Because I think, and he ain't going to be upset for me for saying this, but Blake Abbey went out there on the Hobie BOS, right? And what was it? What chain was that on? In a Popka, I think, or wherever it was, and won. And he didn't have a graph on his kayak. Right. He didn't have a motor. He didn't have anything. Right. So people want to say, oh, well, kayak bass fishing with these graphs, these live scope, the motors, this, I know that does nothing other than someone is passionate about it. They had money to spend. They built what and bought what they could afford. And they're still, at the end of the day, you got to go out there and catch the fish. It don't matter how fast they got there, if they had to paddle, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really matter.
Chad Hoover and Austin Hoover had their XTRs there. They each have about $25,000 invested in each one of their XTRs.
Yeah, and I mean, it's what you want to make out of it. So and I'm kind of glad. I like seeing what people are doing with them, right? And having fun with them and being unique and creative. It is, that's kind of where the sport's evolving to. And I love to see it, right? I like to see where it's going to, because that only means it's growing. In my opinion. So we're excited about that. I'm glad that you guys got out there and got to spend a couple days with our sponsors and get to be at the tip of that and whatnot. And we're excited to kind of see where this takes our club as we continue to grow into the 25-26 season. Now, what is this, our third season, Sean? This is the fourth. This is the start of our fourth season. So we're going strong. We're, some people might think that, because me and Sean are out of the state that, we're the FKBT wasn't going to be a thing, but we got great people like Jeff, David, Chris Clutter, Todd Quill, and folks that, Brass to Bass. I know he's on here, David Noble, Chris Mitchell, all of you guys that are out there supporting the club on your social media platforms. It's only continuing to grow our club. I can't tell you how many people that I've saw on our Messenger, our Facebook Messenger, reaching out, asking how to join the club because they want to be a part of it. So, we're probably not gonna we've been hovering around the 70 to 90 member range. We haven't busted that 100 members yet, but hopefully, as we continue to grow and years go by, we'll hopefully be able to breach that 100 member mark, which would be fantastic. But hopefully this year we'll see a continued growth. And we're listening to you guys. That's why we're putting those polls out there. So by listening to you guys and you guys sharing this, with your friends and your family, hopefully that's going to prove to be what continues to grow our club moving forward. So we're excited to start this season. So to start off and kind of to move on to our next portion of this live, if you guys missed it, I am going to go over very briefly some of the changes that we're going to be enforcing or going to be going into effect for the upcoming season. This is not all inclusive. We're still in this development phase, if you want to call it that, when it comes down to some of the rules. There's some product out there that might eventually get approved when it comes down to measuring devices. I know the Bubba board, the Bubba bump board is something that was new that I wasn't tracking. Maybe there's a possibility. As of right now, it's not as an approved measuring device, but maybe down the road once we go through the testing phase with it. I think we have one on order, or one's coming, and we're going to give it to an angler, or I think Todd or someone of them are going to go out there and we're going to test it in a tournament to see how that goes in the elements before we just jump to approving it. We did that with the Yak Attack leaderboard, and the orange Yak Attack leaderboard in different elements make it extremely difficult for us as judges, and that's just completely transparent with you guys. And we talked to those guys over at Yak Attack about it this past week. It makes that, and if we would have known that and tested it truly before we approved it, there's probably a good chance that we wouldn't have approved the orange leaderboard as an approved measuring device, just because of how difficult it can be with water and glare to see those increments. So great. Thankfully, they came out with some different colors that are fantastic and easy to read, but those orange ones do make it difficult. So we definitely want to do our due diligence with this bubble board leading into before we make our final decision on that. And that goes for quite a few things too. So, but I'll get started with some of those key changes that we're going to be moving into. So, and these were based off some of the polls that we posted earlier in the month. So tail pinching is allowed. So we're now allowing tail pinching during your photo submissions. And that's in alignment with the Bass and other major trails, right? And we'll post a pictogram or whatever you want to call it, like a visual on what that's going to look like, on what's allowed and what's not allowed when it comes to pinching of the tail. And on our next live, we'll post pictures of what, right looks like and what wrong looks like. So for our visual learners, you can see that, but it's the same thing that Bass and all other major trails are allowing. So we're going to go in alignment with that. So it just makes things a little bit easier there. The pre-fishing window for the regular season, that's something that we looked into. Listen to your feedback. Anglers will now be able to pre-fish up until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Friday prior to each tournament. What I will say to that, don't go be a sport, exercise sportsmanship. Don't be out on the water till 6 o'clock beating up on somebody else's fish. If you're going to be out there at 6 o'clock beating up on people's fish, be beating up on your own fish, right? That's what I'll say. Just because you can't get out there, just be aware of that, because the next day, right, if you go sourmouth 30 or 40 fish on Friday and you come out on Saturday and don't catch anything, and then you ask, hey, why did I not catch anything? I would probably exercise better pre-fishing measures than going out the Friday before until 6 o'clock, sourmouth in your fish, graph, do other things. Just be aware of that moving forward. But yes, extended pre-fishing window, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, when it comes to championship pre-fishing guidelines, and this is going to be here and written in the rules, official practice period for your championship is going to open up 7 days before the event, just like any major tournament trail that you'll see or that you compete in. So the off limits will begin 30 days prior to the start of the official practice. And we'll post those timeframes on our Facebook page, and it'll be disseminated out to all of the anglers. Anglers must be off the water for the championship. Anglers must be off the water by 12 o'clock on the Friday before the championship. So that's one of the big caveats there. You're going to have the week prior, the 7 days before the event to fish, and then you're going to have to be off the water at noon. However, you guys already know the location of our championship, right? It's Lake Toho. So you have all season, all year. It's in Central Florida to get out there and do some sort of pre-fishing, right? So it's no secret. The date is still, we'll talk about the date for the championship and what that looks like towards the end of the live here. So again, official practice for the championship will open 7 days prior to the event. Off limits will be 30 days prior to the start of official practice. And the off the water for championship is 12 o'clock the Friday leading into the championship. Mandatory check-in and check off the water. We are utilizing Tourney X as our tournament management system based off of the feedback from the poll from our club. And the one thing that they do have, and is a very robust portion of their app, is a check-in and check off the water feature that we will be utilizing this year. And what that means is you must check in and off the water using that app Checking off the water means that you are physically off the water and at the ramp, starting to load up your kayak within 30 minutes after lines out. Okay, so you have from lines out to 30 minutes to check back in the app there. And I will get notified. I'll be monitoring that and reaching out to the anglers that did not meet that deadline. So if you guys have any issues or how-tos, we're going to be doing in August, I'm going to be opening up a tournament on Tourney X. That's going to be our first tournament. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow me and all the other tournament directors here an ability to kind of see how the tournament managed, how Tourney X operates from a director standpoint. It's going to give us an opportunity to see how the what you guys pay versus what the club sees, so that we can properly adjust our payout scale for the upcoming season on what we want that to look like. It's going to give us an opportunity to make sure the judging, the turn the on the water, off the water feature works right. And it's just going to give us an opportunity and the anglers an opportunity to get familiar with the app for those that maybe not have used it in the past. So you'll see more information about that whenever I publish it on Tourney X. And sorry, I'm reading some comments here. Okay, I'll get to those 3 questions here in a second, because we're going to get to Chris Arazi's comment here in a second. And then Andrew Cordero said, I thought you had an hour to be off water. So we are utilizing, these are the 25, 26 rules. So it will behoove every single one of you guys, once these rules are published, that you become very familiar with them, because once they're published, it's your responsibility to make sure that you are following them, so that you're not in direct violation and potentially disqualified. So with us utilizing the mandatory check-in and off the water, again, you need to be checked off the water 30 minutes after lines out, not an hour, for this upcoming season. The next one is another one, 2 motors authorized. So angler may use up to 2 motors. And I'll let Sean kind of talk a little bit about what that looks like and why we as a club chose to go that route. It's going to get to that point at some point, right? And I know not all national trails. So before we talk about that real quick, I know that we're going to be teaming up with the Native No Limits. So just like we did with the Kayak Adventure Series, obviously, if you are competing in conjunction with our event, with a national trail event, you are going to have to be following the rules and regulations and abide by the ones of the national trail event. But for ours, we're going to allow the 2 motors being authorized, and I'll let Sean kind of dive a little bit deeper into that.
Yeah, just wave tops, kind of covering how we're going to write it. We kind of written out already. We just got to do a little bit more adjustments, but no more than, same as previous year, no more than 3 horsepower, or it's like 1,129 pounds of thrust or something. I forget the exact verbiage, but electric only. And for weight capacity on your kayak, everybody has a label on their kayak. Max a lot of weight. Off the top of my head, Hobie PA14, I have one. It says maximum weight occupancy, or whatever is, however it's phrased.
Max occupancy. Yep.
Yeah, it's 350 pounds or one person, or in one person. So as long as you're not exceeding that weight capacity on the kayak, you're good. So you got to be cognizant of what you're carrying. That includes the weight of the kayak, your person, your gear, your motor, your battery. So some kayaks allow or a lot more than others. So just be aware. And it's a tournament director can deem something unsafe. And obviously we're going to have a talk about it. And it's not just going to be Sean Spears going, I think that's unsafe, it's not allowed.
Yep.
It's going to be bounced off all tournament directors and make sure we're all in agreement if we deem it unsafe. But we're going to clarify it a little bit more, but kind of go off the background of what Bailey was saying, why we're doing it. I mean, it's going to lead to that probably here in the future. And like Bailey says all the time, or Chris, I mean, we're not a national trail. Some are more competitive than others, but we're trying to bring enjoyment to the sport, grow the sport. We're a small grassroots club. Obviously, we're trying to grow, but we're a product for Florida and any other state that wants to join in close proximity, and anybody can fish our club. So we're just trying to make it fun and enjoyable. And if you want to add 2 motors to your kayak, as long as it's safe within that occupancy rating for that kayak, we're fine with it. And if you have any questions, if you want to get clearance by one of us, you can reach out to us anytime. Like, you guys all have my phone number. Mine and Chris, at least, is posted all over the page. You can search it, Sean Spears or Chris Bailey, cell phone number, and text us directly or through Messenger, and we'll answer your questions.
Yeah, and what I was going to say about this too, when it comes to the 2-motor aspect of it, right? There's a lot of kayak manufacturers out there that are building these kayaks to be able to mount bow and stern motors on them, right? I'll just tell you, I've been running during, fun fishing with the Weekend Trash Talk Control for the past year and a half. I've been
probably like 2, 3
right.
years.
We have been testing this on numerous kayaks when it comes down to the 2 motors for the past 2 years in preparation for this type of move, right? So when it took us a very long time to come to a conclusion, but people are doing 2 motors and putting gas powered motors on their kayaks and going out and doing it on their own, right? But the one thing that we really made us want to really decide to kind of just take a leap of faith here and say, hey, let's allow it, is maybe other clubs and organizations see that, hey, it's it works, right? And it's not anything people aren't already doing, right? It's just, I don't know why there's a stigma of, oh, we're not going to allow 2 motors. It's the game has changed, right? Obviously safety is a huge part of this as well, right? So when it comes down to that, what I'm going to request when it comes down to the two motors, and if you're even running 1 motor and you want someone to look at it, we're going to reach out. I'm going to make a post on who is possibly going to be running 2 motors. And then what we're going to do is we can do a video call and we're kind of run through and make sure that you got the right stuff that'll make sure that you're safe and that you're ready to and well equipped to be able to do so. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns on, hey, is this right or is this wrong? That's what our club's there for. You can reach out to myself, Sean, Jeff, Todd, any of us, and we'll make sure to assist you along the way. But again, the big thing here is safety. Don't go out there and do anything crazy. Like a Lifetime from Walmart is not going to be authorized for even 1 motor. Right? They're not built the way that a lot of these other manufacturers are building their kayaks, right? So you have to be smart about this. If we see that anglers are not being smart about it, that's a very simple, hey, it's done, right? We're going back to the way that it used to be. With the amount of people that put motors, graphs, and everything, there's a lot of people here already flirting that line, right? So we're not going to, and then who is it to say to put those restrictions on you guys? We want to have you guys put a lot of money and energy and investment and invest a lot of money into the sport. And I'm the one to kind of let you guys, do so freely, as long as you guys are being safe with it. So what I need from all of you guys is, if you see something unsafe on the water, is you speak up. Jeff, you're muted. Okay.
I was talking to the wife. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if you were trying to talk. Okay. But again, if you see something unsafe, it is our job as anglers, just in general, say, hey, you notice this is obviously is not safe, and be that bystander or intervene there at the ramp and say, hey, make sure you got your life vest on, you running 2 motors. That doesn't look right. Is it a DIY mount? Right. There's a lot of product out there nowadays that from these third-party companies. Just make sure what you're buying and what you're installing on your kayak is done so correctly. Right. When it comes to electrical, batteries, and all that, it can definitely, cause issues if not done correctly. So we hope. Yep. What you got?
No, I was just going to add a couple more things. And if you decide to run 2 motors, only one's going to be allowed to be ran at a time. And we're not going to make it a forcing function. We had a conversation about, I personally have an NK, Bailey has a Torpedo, and we're not going to make those stern mount motors be lifted in order to use the other mount or other motor.
That's silly.
Yeah, because personally, I don't want to talk bad about any of them, but those lift arms bend easily with those heavy 1103s and NK 300s, and I don't know about the 180. Daryl has a 180. I bent my lift bar. I think David Meyer's been his lift bar. Bailey's been his lift bar, just because I'm cheap and I don't buy the aftermarket one. But yeah, one motor at a time being ran. You can leave your stern mount motor in. If you're using your bow mount, you can't be using your stern mount. There was one other thing. You got me sidetracked, Bailey. I blame you. It's your fault. No, yeah, one motor. Yeah, just safety. Safety's a huge thing. Like, by all means, like if you see a unsafe act, I don't want to use Army verbiage, but everybody's a safety. Like, address the issue head on, most direct approach. And if somebody doesn't want to hear it, just call one of us and we'll reach out to them. But everybody in the club's pretty receptive to any feedback. I've never ran into anybody that's been abrasive back. Like,
and again, we listen to you guys too. A lot of people are already doing it, so it's nothing's going to change. You don't have to use two motors. You can use one. You can use pedals. You can paddle. It doesn't matter, right? There's been a lot of tournaments won less than half a mile from the boat ramp, so you don't have to travel, and you don't got to be the first one there to cash a check.
I just don't lift my motor anymore, Amy. It just stays in the water.
But Amy, I will say that innovative sportsman replacement is phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. I have seen yours. Oh, one more thing. I was gonna say, I have, like Bailey said, he's tested on what, 2 different kayaks, the PWR, the Titan X.
Yep. I said the PWR, the Titan, the Old Town PDL.
Yeah. I tried it. I tried it on the Old Town Big Water. It's not fun. Once you get in big waves with 2 motors, I've tried it on the Bonafide SS127. Not fun, borderline dangerous. And the PA, great kayak. Even with just a bow mount, that front end just dips a little bit. I'm probably a little bit too big to be in that kayak with a bow mount anyways. And I'm like 190 pounds. So I've ran 4 kayaks with both motors just to kind of test it out. Great on flat, calm water, all of them. When it gets rough, it gets sketchy, and the 3, except the XTR is a beast.
I'll tell you right now, the PWR is probably the most universal kayak when it comes. It actually, in my opinion, it does better
up front.
It
does well.
Way better. Yeah, it just distributes everything well. If you have questions, comments, or concerns on if it's safe, if it'll be allowed, you can definitely get in contact with me. We'll go through a virtual kind of video walkthrough of it, or if you want someone to look at it in person, Jeff, Todd, and all those guys are there in the state of Florida. So we're all kind of on the same page here. This is our first year, right? There's probably going to be, some things that we're going to learn from in regards to this. But I think, taking risks, like like doing that kind of stuff when it comes to this, is what's going to set us apart from, just those other trails. Like Sean said, we're not a national trail, so we're given, a little bit more freedom and to be able to, try things, to be innovative in this sport. And I think we don't minimize, or we don't maximize how many graphs people can have, and I'm not one to say, hey, you can't do that, right? Like, yes, I could as the director and someone who's running the trail, but at the end of the day too, like, it's, I think it's that time. You guys, at the end of the day, sign that liability waiver too, right? So make sure what you're doing is safe, and that you're not putting yourself or others in harm's way is always the right approach, right? And following all local, state, and federal laws as well when it comes to, like, the United States Coast Guard, when it comes to safety, all of that. Just make sure, whenever you guys are out there operating. I know Chris Clutter, he just got pulled over by the FWC, right? They're out there, they're monitoring the water. Just make sure that you are legal when doing so. Okay. We're going to move on. If there are any, I don't see any questions there, because I'm going to answer Chris's here in a minute. Fishing from a boat That rule was adjusted. The restriction on fishing from a bass boat prior to event is now 14 days. It was originally 30, and that's in the post that's on our Facebook page. If you participate in a bass boat event within that 14-day window, you're going to be required to contact a tournament director, myself, Sean, Jeff, whoever, immediately, so that we can determine your eligibility for that event. I can tell you right now, we've had like 5 or 6 cases where anglers reached out to us ahead of time and said, hey, I participate in the Toyota series, I participate in these events, or I plan on fishing these events. Our event is on this date, and it's within that window. Am I okay to fish? How many people do you think I said you cannot fish our event? 0, right? As long as you communicate that with us as a director ahead of time, you're going to be good, right? We're going to allow you guys to go and compete in those larger boat trails, right? Because at the end of the day, you're in a kayak. There's probably a good chance that you're not going to even be able to get to the locations within the time. Like, you know what I mean? Fishing from a boat and fishing from a kayak are completely separate deals, right? Especially when we limit launches and things of that nature when it comes down to it. So we reduced that from 30 days down to 14 days. And again, we will review those fishing from a boats within those 14 days on a case-by-case basis, as long as you communicate with the staff. If you do not communicate from the staff and we find out later on that you did compete in a tournament within that 14-day window and you also competed in ours, you will be disqualified from that event. Okay. And not refunded. So just communicate with your staff. The 2 other things that we're going to talk about before we jump into the schedule is championship qualification and angler of the year qualification standards. So championship qualification standards is going to be the top 50% of the angler of the year standing. So based off of the top 50 in AOI, 50%, right? So if we have 30 members, right? And the angler of the year points, it'd be the top 15 anglers would be the ones that would be going to the qualifying for the championship. There's no minimum number of events to be eligible. You got to fish one. Well, there is one. You got to fish at least one event, right? To have gotten angler of the year points, right? Again, the past years, what we've had 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever, that is to qualify for our championship, one event, right? You got to score in that one event. Now for angler of the year point system, points for angler of the year are going to be awarded based on the total inches caught per event. Okay. I know I made a post about that and I explained exactly what that looks like. So in previous years, first place, it was based off point increments, right? So first place was 100, second place was 99, third place was 98, 97, 96, so on and so forth. Well, angler of the year in kayak bass fishing, what do? You win based off the total number of, whoever catches the most number of inches, right? So what we're going to do is say you caught 90 inches. You get 90 points towards your angler of the year for that event. If you catch 0 fish, you get 0 points. Okay. And it's going to be every single event is going to be counted towards angler of the year points, right? Angler of the year isn't angler of the year for 5 events. It's angler of the year. We are going to be highlighting and crowning the angler who fished the most consistent throughout the entire year. Right. So all season events and the championship will count towards AOI. The FKBT team challenge will not count towards AOI. There is a bonus. Any angler who catches a limit every regular season event, you caught 5 fish, you got 90 inches for your best 5, you're going to get an additional, every angler that catches the limit will get a bonus of 10 points for that event. So every limit you catch, right? So say you catch 9 limits, or 8 limits for the regular season, you get an extra 80 points, right? To go towards your overall angler of the year points there. So that's something that we're going to be doing this year. I think that's going to be awesome. We're excited to kind of see how that pans out. But again, angler of the year points is going to be based off of the total inches caught per event. And then if you catch a limit, you're going to get those additional 10 points there. Again, there's going to be more updates that are going to follow as we continue reviewing and refining these rules. Okay, yeah, that's a good point, Andrew. If you win an event, yes, you're auto qualified for the championship. That's always a thing. So yes, if you win an event, you are going to qualify for the championship. And just like we did last year, we had 8 or 7 anglers because we had some people that won multiple events. Those anglers that win or auto qualify through a win do not count towards that 50% in AOY, just so that we can increase, the number of participants that we get in our championship at the end of the year. The way that it looks like now, it shouldn't change much of our who all is going to go, because the amount of people that we've been having is around 45 or like 42 people competing in our championship. It's probably going to jump up to 50, hopefully, if folks qualify. That's going to be that would be the goal. But again, that's kind of the aim there, because a lot of feedback that we got was, I can't fish 4 events, I can't fish 5 events. And we're like, you know what, to qualify for the championship, we're a grassroots club. Why not, not make it lessen the requirements on being able to qualify for the championship, but make it a little bit harder and more challenging for the Angler of the Year. And what that comes to with the Angler of the Year, we're going to, I'm not gonna say how much we're trying to get at just yet for Angler of the Year, but this year it's going to be a cash prize, and it's going to be more than what it was this year, because we want folks to be able to want to fight to win Angler of the Year and actually be crowned. We're gonna do trophies a little bit different for Angler of the Year this year too. It's gonna be really unique and different. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome. We will release kind of what our goal is for Angler of the Year as we get a little bit closer to the season, as we kind of final review everything. On kind of what, I don't want to speak too soon on what our plan is there, but it's definitely going to be worth your time and effort in fishing these events. So hold on, let me pull this back up again. Again, all changes listed above are subject to final approval, and maybe adjusted as we finalize the final rule book. Again, we are still in that process. I can see maybe, what did I say, guys, around August, the first or second week of August is the goal for us, maybe sometime mid-August again, but it'll definitely be finalized leading into the about 30 days out of the season. We're just trying to make sure that we get everything captured. But if we miss something, again, make sure to bring that up to us, because we are human, and we do make mistakes. But our goal is to, for you guys to have fun out there fishing, and enjoy your time out there as well, in this great sport. So that's all I have for the rules. I'm going to go through and see. Hopefully I answered everyone's questions.
Yeah, I think you got everybody's question.
Okay. All right. So what we're going to move into next, now that we're about 48 minutes in, is we're going to shift into the release of the schedule. Okay. So what I'm going to say here before we publish the schedule, or we put it up here on the big screen, and we'll post it on our Facebook and send it out. So we are actually, no, I'll jump into TourneyX first. TourneyX is being the new tournament management platform that we're using. We are now live on TourneyX. If you guys want to join the membership, you can do so by, well, first, what you'll have to do is, if you don't have a TourneyX account, you have to create a free TourneyX account. The only way that you can do the join the club feature through the tournament or your personal dashboard is to where you can actually join the club will be on the web browser, not on the app or anything like that. You'll have to go through the web browser. I posted a video on our Florida Kayak Bass Trail official page that shows the process in which to do that. If you have any problems or you run into any issues, please get in contact with me immediately so that I can get in contact with Dwayne to get you squared away. If you get an email or a notification from me saying that your registration for TourneyX was incomplete and not paid for, if it prompts you not to pay, do not finalize the registration process, because I'll have to go in and remove you, and it just adds an extra step to that, and we want to minimize that as much as possible. Be patient. This is a brand new function that Tourney X is coming out with. So just be mindful of that. Club registration is live through the club icon on your personal dashboard through Tourney X. The fee for the membership this year is $55. The reason we went up $5 is because Tourney X does take $2 off the top, and then there's a Stripe fee that gets taken out of that as well. So now, out of that $55, the club is getting around $51.10 out of that 55. And what that money is going to is championship payouts. We're not going to be doing so much of the the prizes giveaways at the award ceremonies after each one of the events. So that's going to be able for us to prioritize a different trophy that we're going to be doing potentially for Big Bass and for the championships throughout the year, or the events throughout the year. So we're still trying to figure out what we're going to be allocating some of that extra money to. But it's definitely going to go towards championship payouts, potentially event payouts like rounding up or whatever the case may be as well. So just sit tight on that, just so that, again, we asked for feedback, and the number one feedback that we got was, you want prizes or do you want payouts? And a lot of you guys said you wanted higher payouts. So we're going to, in August, kind of see what that looks like at a $60 entry fee, and do the breakdown and introduce and go through all of that with you guys ahead of time, so you guys can see what that's going to look like moving forward. But our goal is $60 entry fee for every event, including Big Bass. So that $10 will go to Big Bass, and then the remainder of the money will go obviously towards the fees that Tourney X takes out and the Stripe takes out. And then whatever we left with, we're still going to be taking out the money admin fees, and set aside a few bucks for a championship as well. So we'll lay out that breakout or the payout scale and everything here in the coming weeks. Definitely about a month or so out from the start of the season. But if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about how you can get registered, I would suggest you guys go look at my video that's pinned on our Florida Kayak Bass Trail official page, and utilize that first. And if you haven't run into any issues, reach out to me ahead of time, or reach out to me then, and then I'll make sure to get you taken care of. But without further ado, we're going to run into the releasing of the schedule. So again, our season is pretty straightforward. We're going to be running October through May, right? So we're going to continue that same schedule. The second Saturday, barring the February, or not barring, the only substitutes to that are we're not on the second Saturday of each month, is December 6th and February 14th, because we're going to be with Native No Limit in December, and then we put a poll out for the February event, and it looks like the majority of the members voted for February 21st. So those are the only two tournaments this year that are going to be outside of the second Saturday of each month. And then I'm just going to go ahead and release it. And then I'm going to have Jeff talk a little bit about 3 of the events that are on the schedule that you might have some questions about. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pop it up on the screen here. Starting out in October 11th, we're going to be doing a Central County Challenge. So you're going to see 3 county challenges on here. You're going to see Central, North, and South. Here in a second, I'm going to have Jeff talk about what that's going to look like. November 8th, we're going to be fishing Orange Lake, Loch Lusa. December 6th, we're going to be on the Kissimmee Chain, co-hosting that event with the Native No Limit Challenge. January 10th, we're going to be on Lake Okeechobee. February 21st is going to be the North County Challenge. March 14th, we're going to be on Lake Ida and Osborne. We're going to have Sean talk a little bit about what that event's going to entail. April 11th, we're going to be on Headwaters and Stickmarsh. May 9th is going to be our South County Challenge. And then you're probably asking yourself, when's the championship? Well, we're going to be moving it to September. We're looking at potentially 2 weekends right there. We're just going to have to coordinate with the Bass, the Florida Bass Nation Trail. We've already talked with their tournament director and let them know, hey, this is our plan, and this is, and there's a reason why we went this route in regards to moving our our state championship to September. And a lot of it in the past 3 years is anglers have not been able, they fish all season and they qualify, and then they're not able to participate in the championship because of family vacation, school, graduations, and all of that there in early May. So what we wanted to do was in an effort to try to, minimize that impact and increase our championship participation, as well as kind of giving you guys, the angler, a little bit more time to prepare. It's not so hot, and you're probably burnt out around May as it is anyways with all of our local trails and traveling with the national trails. We want to be able to give you guys some time to kind of collect yourselves and do a little pre-fishing, right, for that Lake Toho, so that you guys can prepare for that event as well too. So again, more to follow on exact date. We're going to wait until those guys at the Bass Nation kind of get their stuff squared away as well too, and then we'll be able to publish the official date for that championship. Yeah, and it does give you guys time to ask for days off. So again, there's a lot of things that went into that, but also it gives us time to raise a little bit more money through some summer challenges and stuff too, to be able to, increase payouts as well, because at the end of the day, our goal is to make this one of the best events that, the state of Florida has for kayak bass fishing. And that's our main goal, is to give back to you guys. And that gives us a little bit more time to do so. But Todd or Jeff, I want to turn it over to you, if you don't mind going through and kind of talking through what this county challenge is and what that's going to look like for these events.
Okay, so the one thing that I'll caveat at the very beginning, and we kind of talked about this a little bit. So all of the county challenges are going to be subject to some possible changes leading right up to the event. So we'll release each event details as it gets closer, and that's only because rising water levels, hurricanes, some ramps might be closed, and those kind of things. And then the other thing is I would maybe reach out to some of the anglers too that live in those areas to help us, right? Maybe do some the month prior, go out and just scout and make sure nothing has changed. But real quick, what I did is I went out, I did a little bit of research, and this was all keyboard research. So I have fished probably a lot of the lakes in the north and the central, not so much in the south, but I leaned on people like Jason Leach to help me give me some data on the lakes. So for the North County Challenge, picked Ocala National Forest, and essentially went up to 9 lakes up there. So Lake Yale, Lake Holly, Lake Dorr, Farley's Lake, Chain of Lakes, Sellers Lake, Beekman Lake, Grasshopper Lake, and Wildcat Lake. So when we do the North Challenge, all of those are within 27 miles of each other. They're all lakes that have FWC approved ramps. And then there's one lake, so Lake Dorr has a big recreational area and a pavilion. So that's where we'll try to do the award ceremony, and try to pick that kind of a little bit in the middle of those lakes, so that if you live north and you're fishing the furthest north lake, yeah, you're going to drive south a little bit, but you're only going 15 minutes. So, it still respects the fact that didn't want people driving an extra hour and a half because they have to go 45 minutes south and turn around and go 45 minutes north. So, so that's the Ocala National Forest Challenge. And then moving on, we get to the Winter Haven. So that's the Central Challenge. This is going to be our first event of the year. So the lakes that are on it right now: Mud Lake, Lake Agnes, Lake Tennessee. I included this as one lake, but it's 2: Lake Juliana and Lake Maddie. I will say, if you choose to go into Lake Maddie, right now the water level is pretty high. The clearance under that bridge is probably only 2.5 feet. So you're going to lean your chair all the way back. You're going to lay down. There's all kinds of critters underneath the bridge. I will say, do that at your own risk. We're not saying you have to do that. And then you're also not allowed to launch directly into Maddie because there's no approved FWC ramp. So if you choose to fish there, you're getting into Maddie by going under the bridge, and you're doing it at your own risk. And then there's Lake Lena, Ariana, Lake Alfred, Lake Haynes, and Lake Rochelle. Again, these are all 15 miles apart. So from the furthest ramp north to south, 30 minutes. Again, I picked Lake Alfred as kind of being the middle lake. They have a nice out at Lions Park. They have a nice boat ramp and they have a nice pavilion. The other real quick caveat that I would do with the lake challenge is, if a lot of these ramps, the parking lot holds 5 or 6 boats. Some of them are dirt ramps. Some of them are, not paved parking areas. You have to park safely, right? The club is not going to be responsible for you not parking safely. If you get to lake that you wanted to fish and it's got a small parking lot, you got to get there early. If you get there and it's full, I would say go to another lake. Don't do anything that's going to risk vehicle safety or your safety while you're loading and unloading. And then the last challenge is going to be the south. So this is Highlands County. Um, some of these are going to be really heavily trafficked lakes. So I would say, deer scouting, deer pre-fish on a Saturday, so that what that lake is going to be like on a tournament day. But Lake Josephine, Persimmons Lake, Lake Carey, Lake Francis, Lake Apthorpe, Lake June and Winter, Lake Clay, Lake Huntley, and Lake Placid. So I know June and Winter and Placid have a lot of boat traffic. We're going to be down there in May. So all of these lakes are going to be hopping again with the jet skis and those kind of things. So just make sure you're being safe. And again, these are 30 minutes apart from the north to the south, 18 miles. And we are targeting Lake June and Winter as the awards location. They've got a Lake June Park public boat ramp, HL Bishop Park public boat ramp. Those are the ramps that you can use in Lake June and Winter. And we're going to go to the Lake June Park public boat ramp. I think there's a pavilion there. So those are the 3 county lake challenges. We wanted to do something different this year that allowed some of the smaller lakes as well as some of the bigger lakes, and then also open the field to have, we're only doing the 9 events, I think. So each one of these opens up an additional, 9 lakes. So that's 27 lakes just within those 3 events. If you want to be more of a kayaker traditionalist, go to a smaller lake that you're going to be by yourself and there's not a lot of pressure. All of these lakes on the Lunker report, all of them produce giants. So hopefully it's a competitive event. That's what we're hoping.
Yeah. And again, a lot of folks were like, hey, we want to, why do we continuously go to these big name lakes with the bass boats and this, that, and the other? So Jeff really took lead on this. And it's kind of, we got this inspiration from, or I believe it came from that Kayak Adventure Series event that we linked up with them in the Ocala National Forest, or kind of February of last year. Right. So, and that was a lot of fun. And I definitely think that brings the grassroots, like kayak fishing back in the woods, type thing back to, to part of the trail, to where we're not just fishing these big name lakes. However, we put it out to the club to vote on lakes, and Okeechobee's still on there. Toho is going to be it's just a phenomenal place to host a championship. It's centrally located for everyone. It's a large enough body of water for 40 to 50 kayakers to be out on fishing. There's more to come on that as well, but we're still giving you guys the opportunity to fish Kissimmee, fish Orange Lake, fish Okeechobee, those big waters. But these county challenges are going to be unique in a sense to where people are going to be spread out amongst, the county. And getting to probably fish bodies of water that they probably never would have given a chance to go fish. Or it could be a lake in your backyard. And I'm already going to go ahead and say this: you cannot launch from your house on any of these lakes. If you live on the Winter Haven chain and one of those lakes is eligible, you will have to launch from an approved launch. So just make sure that is clear. And something that I did think about, but it definitely escaped my mind, and we'll have a conversation about this too, is the May 9th event with that south chain, maybe adjusting that to maybe an earlier month, because that might be a similar situation like the St. John's with the jet skis and whatnot. So that's something that definitely I thought it was in the back of my mind, but looking at it now, and when you brought it up again, I'm not familiar with those lakes, but if it's going to be heavily trafficked, like big wake boats and stuff like that, we might.
Placid in June and winter definitely will be.
Yeah. So me not being we'll talk about that, and that
Okay.
might get that so this schedule might shift a little. We might just swap. We might swap something up there, but we'll keep you guys informed and updated on that moving forward. But we'll talk. You guys have seen this, right? So the schedule is up there now. Again, this isn't necessarily the final draft, other than September, when the championship will be in September, October through May. You guys see the lakes. If you guys have any concerns about it, the December 6th event is set in stone. As far as the location and the date, because that's affiliated with the Native No Limit, but we have time to make adjustments to that. So I know there's other clubs and other things that are coming out. I know Bassmaster, I think, was the 7th and 8th of February. Is that right?
No,
that'll be down on Kissimmee. So we're gonna be the week or we'll be 2 weeks after that. So that makes a little sense there too. But again, safety is a big thing, and if there's gonna be a lot of wakeboard boats and jet skis out on those lakes, I do want to make sure that we'll talk a little bit more about that.
Did you talk about the South event too, Lake Ida and Lake Osborne?
Yeah, so Sean Spears is going to talk about the Lake Ida and Osborne event here. Again, you guys wanted something different and unique. And that's going to be that event for this year. So, Sean, I'll let you talk about Lake Osborne and Ida and what that's going to look like for the club this year.
Yeah, and Sherman's right. The Bassmaster Kayak Series hasn't released their schedule yet.
It's not official? Okay.
No, they haven't released anything yet, so there's no exact dates. And yes, Chris Arazi, we're gonna release that. We'll post it on, and it'll be once we build all the tournaments in Tourney X. It'll also be outlined in the tourney description with maps, what lakes are eligible bodies of water for those county challenges. But to Ida and Osborne, so specifically, it's gonna be a multi-species challenge, right? As most of you know, clown knife, peacock, snakehead, largemouth all occupy the waters between Ida, Osborne, and the canals that connect them. We have a pretty broad boundaries. But they're easily identifiable. I'm not on my personal computer, so I'm not going to brief them right now. But to the north, there's a highway. To the south, there's a highway. West side, it's going to be pretty easy boundaries, even though it's going to be expansive with all those canals and those two bodies of water. But for your limit specifically, I think what Bailey wants me to talk about, to fill your 5-fish limit. So one clown knife, one peacock, one snakehead, and 2 largemouth to complete your limit on Lake Ida and Lake Osborne. So it's going to be very interesting. And I think Bailey's in agreement. We kind of talked about it. We're going to allow trolling.
Yep. For that event. For
that event and that event only, because it's a very common technique for clown knife trolling around like a Rapala, Shad Rap, or whatever your choice of bait is. But live scopes changed the game a little bit too. So if you have live scope, you can just jig a minnow clown knife. But yeah, that's gonna be Ida Osborne. It's gonna be an interesting event. Some of us who fished a previous club that was in Florida, we fished out of Ida, I think 1 year, and they allowed clown knife, peacock, and largemouth all to be measured. I can't recall if they specifically said you got to have a certain amount, but we're going to say 1 peacock, 2 largemouth, 1 clown knife, 1 snakehead to fill your limit. So 5-fish limit, you got to hit all those species. So it's going to be interesting. So
it's going to be a challenge.
Get that clown knife on the board. It'll get you, and bring your 32-inch catch carbonate board.
Yeah.
Hey, does a bowfin count as a snakehead down on that lake?
It does not, sir. It does not.
But no, again, we want to have fun with this too, right? And a lot of you guys, we have a lot of anglers from Miami that are really interested in fishing our club, right? So that's going to be a fun event. It'll be our furthest south event that we're going to be. I think that we've ever hosted. If I'm being honest, I think that's the furthest south.
Are we doing that as an open too?
No, I mean, no. But we could. And the only reason that I'm saying that we could is because the way that we're doing Angler of the Year points is based off of total inches caught, and not based off of a point scale.
True,
it gives us the opportunity to have opens more freely, right? And because it won't interfere with Angler of the Year points, because Angler of the Year points is based off your performance and ability to catch bass, not, you know what I mean? So it could be, if we get enough participation or enough interest in it, I don't see why we couldn't. The only reason I would leverage it, or I would caution on the knot, is because hopefully I'm surprised. Hopefully I just don't know how much participation we're going to get in it due to the proximity of how far you're going to have to drive to get down there. So this is kind of like that Lake Seminole event that we did on the north end. This is going to be on the south end there. So we'll play. We want to try to host our opens kind of in Central Florida, because that's where the majority of our where our anglers or our members are at. So I'm not opposed to it. Again, it ain't going to hurt anything.
I was going to say, to answer your question, whatever, Chris Arazi, whatever your board is, if you have a 32-inch catch carbonate, I think that's the biggest authorized board we allow. You would get 32 inches if you max that board out. Some are 28. Yak Attack leaderboard's 28. Some catcher 26. So whatever the largest number is on your board. And Dave Myers, it's 1 clown knife, 1 peacock, 1 snakehead, and 2 largemouth. That's how you fill your limit.
Yep.
Extreme Kayak Series is a good draw.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is going to be fun. If a lot of people participate in it, it's something new that we're trying, just like with these county challenges, right? Getting back in those backwater, smaller lakes that have really big fish in them. We're just hoping that we're trying to put you guys on lake one that you feel comfortable fishing on and are able to, catch a limit. That's our main goal, is for anglers to go out and for everyone to be able to catch a limit, right? We know that's not most likely going to happen, but it could, right? So you guys chose the majority. You guys chose all the lakes this season minus those 3 county challenges, which are just going to be a way for you guys to get in the backwater, smaller lakes and finding something new, getting back into traditional kayak bass fishing. So we hope that you guys are excited about this schedule. If you guys have any questions or comments regarding it, please reach out. Again, I'm going to post it up here. You guys take a screenshot, take a picture of it. I'm about to post it on our members only page, but we're going to have a conversation immediately following this. We might end up switching one of those county challenges, just so that I don't want you guys on that South challenge getting and run into the same thing we did on the St. Johns River with jet skis and wakeboard boats and whatnot. So again, I apologize on that, but I'll talk with the guys and I will post those county challenge, that PDF or that you made, Jeff, to our members only page so folks can have access to it. But Jeff, you guys don't have any questions in regards to that, again, drop them in the comment section below if you do. And we'll answer them. But we're excited about it. We spent a lot of time and effort, reaching out, soliciting your guys' inputs. Hopefully you guys feel like your voices were heard. Again, some of those rules that we discussed are subject to change, and there's going to be more that are going to be slightly altered. And we'll do a complete rules overview like we do every year, and highlight all of those changes within and where they fit within the actual PDF. And we'll have some visuals in regards to photo submission criterias and all that stuff too, to make it easier, because we do have a lot of anglers that are new to kayak bass fishing. So again, if you're watching this and you're not a member and you want to join, please reach out to one of us. Go ahead and request access to the Florida Kayak Bass Trail official Facebook page. There it is. It's a private page, but that's where we release all of our information and updates to the club. So if you're interested in that, just go ahead. I've been adding people left and right there, so you guys can get the most up-to-date information for the club moving forward. So I don't have anything else that I'd like to talk about in regards to the upcoming season. I don't want to talk too much because we're going to be doing a couple more lives leading into it over the next couple weeks. But wanted to give you guys a glimpse of those changes if you didn't see them on Facebook, and release that schedule for you guys, to where I've been getting asked left and right on when we were going to drop it. So I just wanted to give you guys that that knowledge there. So Sean, you got anything else you want to add?
No, I think we covered it all. Looking forward to the season. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. Jeff, what you got?
No, I'm just ready to get out there and start fishing again, tournament style.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting. We hope that you guys enjoy it. Hope you guys are ready and rested. We got 2 anglers that are going to be fishing the Bassmaster kayak series up on Lake Champlain. I know Chris Mitchell's out there right now. I know Blake Abbey's going to be heading up there on Wednesday. So we're going to have 2 anglers competing up there this weekend on that stage. So if you guys can take a minute, reach out to them on their social media pages and wish them the best of luck in representing Florida up there in New York. They're damn near on the border of Canada. It seems like. So just, shoot them some what do you want to call it? Some good luck vibes.
Love. Give them some love.
Again, if you're out there competing this week or just out on the water, again, be safe. Again, we truly appreciate each and every one of your guys' support. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do what we do day in and day out. So we're looking forward to this year. Like I said, more information to follow as the coming weeks. And let's be on the lookout for what was I about to say? Be on the lookout for we'll do another live here in the next week or so to release some of the payout information. But we will be opening up a tournament on Tourney X for August, starting August 1st. So I'm gonna publish that here in the next day or two. And it's going to be a month-long tournament just so for us to be able to give us an opportunity to kind of learn the app on the back end side. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully you guys participate, help us out a little bit in regards to that. And again, we look forward to seeing you guys out on the water. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Later.
Have a good night.
Night.